Deadly heatwave hits Shenzhen, 2 deaths and 60 fainting incidents in 12 days. 80-year-old cries out, government is a big deceiver. Mourns ancestors who died in anti-Japanese war. Is the CCP in a frenzy? 11 consecutive documents issued in a day to back private enterprise. Xi Jinping's third term faces political crisis? Party media exposes officials rolling up their sleeves to observe. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Deadly heatwave hits Shenzhen, 2 deaths and 60 fainting incidents in 12 days. Extreme heat continues to wreak havoc in mainland China. According to a report from the First Financial News Weibo account on July 19, Beijing has broken its record for consecutive days of high temperatures, with the heat wave engulfing the capital city. As of noon on July 18, Beijing has experienced 27 consecutive days with temperatures exceeding 35 degrees Celsius, setting a new record for the longest period of high temperatures ever recorded and surpassing the previous record of 26 consecutive days set in 2000. According to the report, the scorching heat has tragically caused the deaths of some people. On July 15, the Shenzhen Municipal Health Commission officially reported that 2 individuals died from heat stroke within a span of 12 days. They were a 48-year-old male tour guide and a 57-year-old woman. Both of them were brought to the hospital in a state of unconsciousness, with body temperatures exceeding 42 degrees Celsius. Unfortunately, they succumbed to the diagnosis of heat stroke and passed away. Additionally, there were 60 people who had fainted due to the heat. The first affiliated hospital of Wenzhou Medical University recorded 8 cases of severe heat stroke patients who were admitted for treatment since July. Most of these cases involved elderly patients, though there were a few young individuals as well. The scorching summer days and persistent high temperatures have turned dying from the heat from a mere joke to a grim reality, and phrases like being roasted and cooked are becoming common expressions as extreme heat becomes a disaster. The China National Climate Center predicts that from July 24 to August 8, most parts of the country will experience temperatures close to or higher than the usual averages, with areas like Beijing, western Hebei, northern Shaanxi, central Inner Mongolia, northern Shaanxi, southern Tibet, western Yunnan, and northern Xinjiang being 1 to 2 degrees Celsius above the norm. It is anticipated that this trend of higher temperatures will continue throughout August in most parts of the country. 80-year-old cries out, government is a big deceiver. Mourns ancestors who died in anti-Japanese war. The forced demolition of ordinary people's homes by the Chinese authorities has become commonplace, plunging countless families into despair. Recently, a video circulated on the internet about an 80-year-old individual in China, whose house, which he had poured his life's effort into, was forcefully demolished by the authorities. In desperation, the elderly person cried out for help from their deceased relatives who had sacrificed their lives during the anti-Japanese war. However, at the time of this report's publication, the video has been deleted from Twitter. The video was published on Twitter on July 20 by the account @VideoNews, showing the 80-year-old crying out, "The government is a big liar, even worse than during the Japanese occupation." You didn't expect this outcome, did you? They are even worse than the Japanese. In the video, facing a large group of police officers wearing black uniforms with red armbands, presumably, the elderly person, dressed in blue pants and a black jacket while using a walking stick, cried out in anguish, "Grandfather, uncle, elder brother." Today is the memorial day for the Nanjing massacre by the Japanese devils, grandfather. You know that your grandson is already in his 80s. The elderly person expressed their pain, talking about the blood they shed. They had bought the house from the town government with the hope of spending their twilight years there. However, now, it's them again, coming to demolish our homes and not allowing us to live here. The elderly person cried out, "Now, our situation is even worse than during the Japanese occupation. We have no personal freedom. They don't let us come and go." The elderly person cried out, all the soldiers who sacrificed themselves during the anti-Japanese war, may your spirits in heaven protect us, don't let them crush us to death. The elderly person lamented that they are already in their 80s and might end up dying at the hands of their own people. My life's efforts are in vain. They, the government, are big liars. They deceived us and made us suffer. We have no way to survive. The elderly person shouted, "Whenever I see someone in black, police uniform, I tremble. I tremble." Finally, the elderly person painfully expressed that in their past life, people sacrificed their lives for the anti-Japanese war, shedding blood and tears. You don't know the fate that has befallen your descendants. Upon hearing the elderly person's desperate cries, many police officers bowed their heads in shame. Regarding the forced demolition by the CCP, the article "China's Forced Demolition Will Go Down in World History," written by Suzy, points out that forced demolition is a phenomenon in China, an ongoing atrocity. Going out to buy groceries, and coming back to find your house gone, what kind of world is this? People are kidnapped outside their homes at night, and their houses are then bulldozed. Is this not the act of super robbers? The article states that even birds need a nest, and defending one's nest is a human instinct. But self-immolation cannot stop forced demolition, firecrackers cannot stop forced demolition. How many people have cried out in despair and shed tears of blood? In times of war, bombs might destroy many people's homes, but in times of peace, even the cruelest rulers would not be this insane. Yet, forced demolition is carried out and orchestrated by the government under the pretext of maintaining social order for a long time. When a country experiences large-scale and long-term forced demolition, this country loses the most basic and essential economic order of life. To arrest the thugs who force demolish ordinary people's homes or the masterminds behind it and sentence them is the beginning of ruling the country according to the law and establishing social and economic order. Is the CCP in a frenzy? 11 consecutive documents issued in a day to back private enterprise. In the past few years, the CCP authorities have vigorously suppressed private enterprises in the name of regulation. The so-called state advances, private retreats approach in recent years has seriously damaged the normal market economy. With China's economy currently in a state of despair and facing difficulties, there has been a massive exodus of businesses, resulting in negative GDP growth and a youth unemployment rate of up to 46%, even higher than that. To address the situation, the regime made a rare move. On the evening of July 19, the Beijing authorities issued 11 documents in succession, emphasizing the revitalization of the private economy and promoting its development and growth. The 31 articles covered 8 major areas, including creating a legal system for the private economy and following Xi Jinping's socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era as the guiding principle. They also emphasized strengthening the centralized and unified leadership of the party's Central Committee over the private economy, aiming to achieve a 2.0 version of public-private partnership, with private enterprises following the party's lead. In response to this matter, Li Hingqing, an economist living in the United States, said, "If they, the CCP, had known the current situation, why did they have to go after these private entrepreneurs in the first place? Now, they are pretending to support and boost the private economy with this so-called movement-style approach. Will this actually have a real effect in saving the economy? I think it's just a drop in the bucket." According to Xinhua News Agency, the CCP promises equal treatment and fair play for state-owned enterprises and private enterprises. But economist Li questioned, these private entrepreneurs are all very clever because they have been fooled and deceived too many times. Over the past several decades, during the CCP's 70 years of rule, the properties of those private entrepreneurs and individual businesses in China have been looted and plundered time and time again. The CCP can change its rules overnight. The law has become a tool in the hands of these rulers or officials. They tighten it when they want, loosen it when they want. When the economy is not doing well, they loosen it, and when the economy slightly picks up, they tighten it again, right? Then they come to plunder us again. So, with this kind of support for the private economy, which of these private entrepreneurs would dare to truly invest their hard-earned money and put in their efforts to develop the economy? Entrepreneur Hu Liren, currently residing in Florida, USA, straightforwardly stated that the CCP authorities would not be able to actually implement these policies. He expressed a pessimistic view regarding the prospects of private entrepreneurs and the current downward trend of the Chinese economy. According to his observations, many industries are struggling, such as manufacturing, cosmetics, and the small commodities in Yiwu, a county-level city under the jurisdiction of Jinhua in central Zhejiang province. These things may no longer be viable, as well as metal processing and other related industries. Hu mentioned that in 2009, he started a tech company in Shanghai with an investment of 6 million renminbi, approximately $836,000, but he did not receive a single penny of policy-related funding from the government. He believes that it is very difficult for private enterprises to obtain government support, and those who do are mostly well-connected state-owned enterprises. Hu believes that the key issue is that the CCP government does not truly consider private entrepreneurs as their own people. So, the current assistance policies are mainly to alleviate the situation. However, he emphasized that these easing policies must not affect politics. If the private economy makes ordinary people too wealthy and threatens the CCP's ruling status, the authorities will suppress it. 11. Jinping's third term faces political crisis? Party media exposes officials rolling up their sleeves to observe. After Xi Jinping's third term, the lazy and negligent behavior of CCP officials has become increasingly serious, posing a crisis for the alternative political regime. In an unusual move, on July 20th, Xinhua News Agency, the official CCP media, published a commentary article condemning the prevalent corrupt work style in the CCP officialdom, with many party members and officials showing a lack of initiative, saying, "They don't speak up, don't take the lead, and just stand by idly with rolled up sleeves. When pushing forward with their work, they don't want to speak, don't know how to speak, or don't dare to speak. They evade issues, procrastinate, and avoid tackling difficult problems." China expert Wang He stated on July 20th to NTD New Tang Dynasty that due to Xi's overwhelming control, he occupies all the seats in the Politburo Standing Committee, leading to many grievances from various factions. Both upper-level political factions and lower-level officials express complaints about Xi Jinping. Now, Xi Jinping holds absolute power and there is no force within the party to counterbalance him. These officials outwardly show support for Xi but actually pursue their own agendas. They don't take Xi seriously. The more Xi Jinping wants to consolidate power, the more these officials resist him in secret. They dare not openly oppose him, so they resort to slacking off. When faced with problems, they avoid dealing with them directly and pass them up the chain of command. If Xi doesn't issue orders, they won't take action. If Xi issues orders, they will do the opposite, resisting and causing disruptions, engaging in what is called soft resistance. In fact, from 2018, the party media Xinhua Daily Telegraph had revealed the existence of a slack-off trend in the CCP officialdom, where many officials in frontline positions developed a retirement mentality. Reports from publicized Chinese media show officials engaging in gambling, drug use, playing games, online shopping, watching pornographic films, and even committing adultery during working hours. Former Premier Li Keqiang has expressed anger multiple times due to official negligence, even using a teacup to strike the table in frustration, but it has had little effect. In 2019, People's Daily publicly reported that Xi Jinping warned CCP officials during the Party Building Work Conference not to be lazy, negligent, mediocre, or corrupt officials and not to use anti-corruption as an excuse for inaction. In 2021, the party media disclosed the contents of a speech given by Xi Jinping at a Central Commission for Discipline inspection meeting. He criticized officials for their passive and negligent behavior, waiting for central orders before taking action. If he doesn't issue instructions, nothing gets done. Xi Jinping said that the fact that he personally has to issue instructions should have been the last line of defense. Expert Wang stated that CCP officials are engaging in procrastination and deception, both upward and downward, and now this situation is widespread. They are all making a mockery of Xi Jinping. Xi himself is well aware that if this continues, the Communist Party will collapse. So he wants to turn decay into magic and preserve the party. However, these actions are at odds with the interests of officials and the political culture. As a result, Xi Jinping has become isolated, facing opposition from top to bottom. All these things just indicate that the entire CCP system has become corrupt and is on the verge of collapse, unable to continue. If this situation continues, it shows that the Communist Party is running towards its end. Don't forget to comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.